So hello everybody, my name is Reino and I'm an architect designer and background, and I have more than 45 years experience in the field of school architecture and educational architecture. And as I already mentioned, that I worked for more than 25 years at the Finnish National Agency for Education as chief architect, and that is a central agency subordinated to the Ministry of Education, and our goal was to, as an architect, I was responsible for making guidelines for school architecture and school designers. I will tell you a little bit more about that later on. And before my office at the agency, I had 15 years practice as a private architect and having designed several school buildings and nursery schools in Finland. And actually, I have worked here at the Aalto University. Before that was School of or University of Technology, and I was a part-time teacher at the same chair at periods. So this auditorium is very, very familiar with me. All these spaces. Yeah.
Reino, by the way, you also stop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So in my presentation, I try to give you some perspectives of the Finnish school architecture, and I also will present some 5 or 6, 7 new schools or recently built schools in Finland, which all are based on architectural competitions, invitational or open architectural competitions. So there are these winning proposals. So you get an image how the Finnish architects see modern school building in Finland, how they have been realized and completed and implemented in Finland. So, but I will start with a brief history of school construction in Finland. So you get an image how we have started to develop our school construction here. Some 100 years ago, in 1921, the Finnish government laid down a new law on compulsory education in Finland. That meant that all the children under the age of 12 years, they were obliged to go to school all day. And they had to fulfill all the requirements of the general education. And before that, there were not many schools in Finland. There were only, we call them circulation schools, so that the teachers went to from a village to another village, and there were schooling that happened in farmhouses or in community houses, and that this new law on compulsory education started and brought a big need for new schools in whole Finland. So before that, we had schools only in big cities, but that new law brought a big need for new schools all over in Finland. And the government also started to fund school construction in Finland. So they gave money to the municipalities to construct new schools. And the government also organized school design competitions, and they also created school models for different sizes of schools, there were school models for female teachers and also for male teachers. Wow. And the government also launched norms for school construction and school design. And that also meant that schools became very similar in the whole country. But the government ceased and stopped to fund school construction in 1993, 30 years ago. And that meant that the municipalities were totally responsible for school construction and school design in their area from that on. So so it was 30 years ago when this state funding system was phased down. And what happened then, I can explain a little bit later. So this is a picture or a diagram about the construction stock of schools built in Finland by year of schools completion. We see that after the general compulsory law, we had something like 80 schools in Finland, not very much. But this new law brought that a big need for new schools all over in Finland. We see this high column, which was caused by this new law, and then it was a little bit slowed down. But after the years of the Second World War, there was a big birth rate in Finland, and that also caused a big need for new schools in Finland. So in the 50s, up till the, let's say, till the 70s, till the 80s, we built a lot of schools in Finland. But here, in the 21st century, it has become also much slower. So we build nowadays something like a few dozens of schools each year annually in Finland. So it has sort of been becoming slower. And we also have a trend that the countryside is becoming empty, and the municipalities are closing down small village schools, let's say for pupils from 30 to 50 children in the school. They're being closed down. And the children are being transported to the central schools in the municipality center. And we are already having schools for more than 1,000 pupils. So this is sort of a centralization in the whole education system in Finland. During this state funding system, the school construction was highly non-controlled, because the state and the government, they wanted that the funds are used properly, similarly all over in the country. So the school construction was highly regulated. There were norms for the number of classrooms per school, the size of the classroom, even the height of the classroom, even norms for the furnished and equipment of the school. But this norm system was taken down 30 years ago when the municipalities became totally responsible. And today's school construction is governed only by these general building laws that covers building safety, heating, plumbing, and all these ventilation systems. So in the school legislation, there's only one paragraph saying that the student who participates in education is entitled to a safe learning environment. And that is very commonly said, but this legislation has been sort of made more precise in the documents that the Finnish National Agency of Education has published. So there are a lot of texts. What does the safety and security of school mean in practical life and also in school design? So the Finnish National Agency for Education, which is, as I told, that it is the central agency under the Ministry of Education, their sole sort of norm-giving function is to publish this national core curriculum or curricula for all school levels and for all schools. So that they write the basics and the foundations for the curriculum that each school and municipality have to follow when they write their own local curricula. And in these new national curricula, which are renewed frequently, let's say every fifth year, there are a lot of text for learning environments. There are text for learning environments, what they mean and how they have to be used in the daily life of school. And you can find these and read more of these new national curricula at the website of the Finnish National Agency. You could just search for curriculum. They are written there totally in Finnish and Swedish, but also some common ideas in English. So here some captions from the curricula, but there are tens and maybe hundreds of places. What is the learning environment in the national core curriculum? So what is the learning environment? There are spaces and places, also communities and practices where learning takes place. And what is a well-functioning learning space? Learning environment, it promotes interaction, participation, community knowledge building. They enable active collaboration with the community. And what is the goal of the learning environment and its development? So it has to be a pedagogically diverse and flexible. Flexibility is written there. And learning environments, they have to provide opportunities for examining and researching things from different perspectives. They also have a lot of text for the space solutions, the furniture solutions, and these texts are written for every study subject. And also the active participation of students and the teachers has been emphasized there. So the Finnish Building Information Society, which is an organization owned by the construction industry, together with the Finnish National Agency for Education, they have created and written these information files series for school and kindergarten design. And these are written for all school levels and for different subjects, like for different spaces, for design, for interior design, for outdoor areas of the school, and also for the design of the safety and security. But these are not norms. These are not to be followed strictly, but these are more like recommendations and guidelines. So we have forbidden all the regulations and norms. These are more like, this is much more free than it used to be 30 years ago. And what has become very important in the Finnish school design is the pedagogical plan. So that we have a practice which has become very common in the Finnish school design and process, that the users, they have to define the pedagogical plan for the school they will take in use in the coming years. So this is not a floor plan, it's not a drawing, but the users, they write their sort of vision, how they want to work, what is their working culture, and what work methods they will apply in their new schools. And only after this pedagogical plan, the project plan will be created, which is more detailed with the room program and so on. So actually, this is something that every project should have and should make. And the Finnish municipalities and the schools, they can decide themselves the concept of the future school. It can be anything. It can be an agora consisting of a big hall surrounded by learning environments or learning spaces, or it can be a star, or like school with wings with learning environments, or it can be a series of courtyards, or it can consist of different buildings the same size, like a campus school. So this is very free, depending on the municipality's own will and the teacher's own will. And some trends about the trends we are going to in the Finnish school design, that we are trying to forget the old-fashioned corridor classroom concept, so that there is a central corridor and similar size classroom on both sides of the corridor. This is now, we try to abandon it, forget it. It has gone over. So we see the school nowadays consisting of different zones. So there are different places of different kinds of activities. And every space is meant for learning and teaching, even the circulation areas that used to be corridor areas. So this is an existing school building in Sipoo, here in southern Finland. And as you see, there are places for different kinds of working. There are places for meeting and sharing, places for functional working, silent work, group working, personal working, service spaces, and so on. But actually, you don't see any corridors there. Every space is for work and and learning and teaching. Of course, somebody can ask what about the fire, evacuation rules, and so on. They can be solved. And here another example, which is existing in the northern Finland. And this describes or shows one home area of a special or certain age group. So they have their own home area, different spaces for different kind of work, for big group work, normal sized group, and also for small groups, these red dots. And every space can be open to each other by opening the walls of the doors. And you don't see any corridors here in the home base area. There are some corridors connecting these home bases, but within the home base, you don't see any corridor space. And then the Finnish National Agency for Education has published a book on healthy and good learning environments, was it something like 15 years ago. And in this book, the agency wanted to describe and present the idea, what is a good quality school, what does it consist of, what are the sort of features of a good quality school. And first it says that it promotes mental and social well-being, and we see that there has to be big spaces where all the school community can gather together. It's a multi-purpose space where you can have school lunches, school meals, and then there is the stage. And another feature is this says that a good quality school should allow different ways of working and interacting, so that the classroom spaces or the teaching spaces, they can be furnished differently and can be modified differently for different kind of learning situations. And here another example from a school in Helsinki. It's a primary school. In the middle of the school there is this free space where the children can gather together and they can have their relaxation time there, or they can study and work together. So almost in every Finnish school we have these kind of spaces, which are not sort of official spaces, but they're sort of multiple spaces for different kind of things. And we see the Finnish school as a very important building in the society and the community. It's usually it can be the only public building in the community or in the village or in the neighborhood, in the residence area. So it is always a sort of a public building for cultural activities, and all the neighborhood should have the opportunity to use the spaces after the school hours or even during the school hours. So I know those schools where there is a school restaurant offering meals to the students, and even the elderly people from the neighborhood, they can come to the school and have their meals there. So this is a multifunctional space. It's a very expensive investment, the municipality, so it has to be used effectively. So it's a cultural place, cultural building for everybody's use. Good quality school should offer spaces for students to work independently. So this is a school existing in Turku. Actually, it's a Turku teacher training school, and they have spaces in the corridor areas, circular spaces, where the students can work independently. So it's furnished so that it can be used. Here another example from Hämeen. You see those booths in the lobby areas. They can be used for relaxation or for work. Here another example. This is from Hämeenlinna. It used to be, or it is a school built in the 1950s. So it used to be a corridor classroom school, but they opened the walls, they demolished the walls. So it's more like open plan school nowadays, more or less. And they use the furniture, the flexible furniture, to arrange different kind of learning situations. And we have a very good variety of different options for using the furniture very easily in schools. And the Finnish schools, they are usually very transparent. There are a lot of visibility. So we have glass walls. So the users and also the visitors see the activity, what is happening in the school. And also the transparency, it gives safety and security feeling that you see everything around. So Aurora School, designed by Claudia, they have a lot of nice places where the children can work independently. So every space can be used by the children during the lessons or after the lessons or before the lessons, and for independent work. Thank you, Claudia, again. Then one of the features of MultiLED School is that it is in itself a concrete learning textbook. It should be rich in structures, in textures, in material, so that it can be used as a background for every study subject, for mathematics, for natural sciences, for arts and crafts. So when you design a school building, make it rich of details, rich of atmosphere, rich of architecture. Then I will present you some new schools, all based in architectural competitions. And this is Saunalahti School in Espoo. It was built already for 20 years ago, but it's still very modern. And here we see the 10 years ago, 10 years ago, yes. And here we see the winning proposal on the left and the second prize on the right. And if we see that actually the result is very similar to the winning prize. It hasn't changed, almost not at all. And here a famous picture of the school. This has been published in many architectural reviews and publications. And this is not my picture, so I need to give Virjo and Tiina the sort of credits for this picture. It shows very well the link between the nature and the school building. This facade next to the schoolyard is very open. It's full of, it's open and made of glass. And here you see the interaction between the exterior area and the interior area, so that there is a glass in between, but these spaces, outside spaces and interior spaces, they're floating into each other very smoothly. And here is the main space of Saunalahti School. The school restaurant is very, very important in Finland because we offer free meals to the pupils. Every pupil is entitled to have a free school meal, warm school meal in Finnish schools. So usually when you visit Finnish schools, the school restaurant is there, always there in the menu. And this is also a multi-purpose space. So after the lunch hours or before the lunch hours, it can be used for different kinds of events. It's a learning environment itself, and the school can organize different kinds of events in the same place. So the floor of the restaurant can be used as a stage, and these stairs is like an auditorium. So it can be used the whole day long, the same space. And this picture also tells that every space is meant for learning. So this is a lobby space for a certain home base of our age group. So even the lobby area with their lockers can be used as a classroom or a learning environment. And the Finnish schools are today more or less shoeless schools. So the children take off their shoes when they enter the school, and they walk there only by using socks or sort of inside. So that makes that it's more easy to keep this school clean, and it's also very good for the acoustics of the school. It's much less noisy. And then another example, we go to Helsinki. This is again a comprehensive school. So there you have the lower levels of the primary school, and also up till the age of 15 years old children, also for 700 pupils, similarly the same as in Saunalahti School. And this is an UNESCO associated school, so that they get some help or material from UNESCO. and the school belongs to the network of UNESCO. And here we see quite an often seen example of the Finnish school floor glass. And this represents the wing-like form, so that there are different wings surrounding the heart of the school. So in the middle of the school, we have the most important place, which again is the school restaurant. Here we have the main entrance, and in these different wings, we have home areas for different age groups. And in the middle of the home base area, there is their own lobby area. And the classrooms, they can be connected to each other with the help of doors or openable walls. And then we have wings for arts and crafts and for home economics. And here a section drawing showing that they also made an experiment with the natural ventilation. But the teachers have admitted that it didn't work very well. So they have a mechanical ventilation also at the same time. But this was an experiment for the city of Helsinki, which maybe Sari can tell you a little bit more if you want, about the natural ventilation used in this school. And here is a picture of the main space, the restaurant space. It's very transparent, it's very festive space, not meant only for school meals, but it is also actively used before and after the school hours. It can be used for students' meetings. In this picture, they are waiting for the buses, the parents to take them home. And as you see, the music teaching space or the environment is next to the restaurant, and there is a big openable, big how do you call screen, or what do you call this big board, so that they can arrange here big events. And
so you can get the stage.
Yes, you can get a stage too. And this is also very typical in Finnish schools, that it's multifunctional space, so that the restaurant can be used for many kinds of events. And here a picture of one of the home base lobbies surrounded by classrooms, which are all very transparent. And this is not only for lobby work like lockers, but it's also a multifunctional space for learning, being together, for relaxation or studying. When we go to a third school in Helsinki, and my foreign colleagues, I can say that this lies in the very near to the center of Helsinki. This Jätkäsaari area used to be a harbor, a warehouse area. But the city of Helsinki decided, was it something like 10, 15 years ago, that it has to be transformed to a residence area. So all the warehouses, they have been demolished, taken down, and now there are houses for more than 20,000 people. And it's already quite complete, all this area. And because of the inhabitants, they also had the need for new school there. And the new school is here, not that form, but it makes sort of a public building, sort of, what do you call it, zone there. And the city of Helsinki, they launched an open architectural competition, which became very popular. They got more than 100 proposals. And in the design brief, the city of Helsinki, they wanted flexibility, variability, adaptability, so that the spaces should be very flexible and transformable. And this is not the winning proposal, but here the architect has presented his or her ideas how these spaces can be transformed to another kind of unity by opening walls or closing walls. And here another proposal, not the winning proposal, which declares that every space is meant for learning, even the circulation areas, so that you have this closed learning classrooms also. And then we have workstations all over in the building. And here an illustration of the winning proposal. And so this is an illustration how the school should look like and will look like. So there is a big opening in the middle of the school, a big hall surrounded by these balconies, and you have these learning environments connected to this balcony area. And it was completed almost the same as it was in the winning proposal. So here we have the central hall, which is the school restaurant. It can be used as a stage. Here we have this openable burden of the system, and there is a big staircase system here, which can be used as an auditorium. So this is the heart of the school building in the facade. You see the balconies, in 2 or 3 floors, and the learning environment, openable learning environment on these different floors. And it is a school consisting of 3 or 4 floors, but it's very, very transparent, so that they have opened the floor so that also the lowest floor can get natural light from the skylights here. It's very transparent. And also the lowest floor gets natural light from above. And here we see a setting of the floor plan. Here in the middle you have this central hall, the dining hall with the stage, and these balcony areas can be used also for work. And then these more closed spaces can be open to each other or to these balcony areas. This is very flexibly thought. I visited there last spring, and the teachers they were loving their school. And here an example how the spaces can be modified and they can be connected to each other, so that they can have many different sorts of different kind of learning situations by combining these spaces. And this is used, very actively used, these combinations. And here are some sections of the school building. We see the central hall, which is open. We see the balconies. And this is the big auditorium of the staircase. Then we go to the north of Finland. And in Finland, we have a new trend of constructing schools of wood, more and more. And we have been started to think that wood as a material is warm, is healthy. And in this Pudasjärvi village or municipality, they had problems with their old school, which was built of concrete. They suffered from humidity problems and health problems. And the municipality made a decision that everything old must be demolished, and the new school has to be built of wood and timber. So this is a big school for all school levels. And in the school architecture, they tried to find ways for the vernacular architecture, and they took the wood construction tradition from their local school buildings. So this is a block building, which is becoming more and more used also here in the other new schools in the Helsinki region. And here an example from the interior. A lot of wood is used here, so it's a very rich interior, warm interior, and they have tried to use all natural materials everywhere they can. In the floors it was a little bit difficult, so they used some carpeting there. Then we have a recently built new school in Helsinki. This is a Finnish-Russian school, which was completed 2 years ago. This is not a municipal school, so this is a state-run school. We have, let's say, some 8 schools run by the state. And they usually use school for handicapped children, children with severe special needs, but we have two schools for different languages. We have Russian school and we have French school in Helsinki. And it is the same with the Finnish Russian school as in Pudasjärvi, that they had a concrete school there built already in the 60s, but also that school suffered from humidity problems and health problems. And this government decided that it has to be laid down or put down, demolished. And the new school, they wanted to build it on wood. So there was a competition for this school, and this is the award-winning proposal. So everywhere when possible, they have used wood in the solutions. This is the main auditorium, which is open to the school restaurant. And here again, the combination of school restaurant, the auditorium, they make this sort of central place of the school. And then there are these small cabins or huts all over in the school. There are several of these, and these are meant for the students where they can study or have their own relaxation time. And these have become very popular places. Small huts, so building in a building sort of way. And the last school I will present is this new upper secondary school in Tuusula, which is something like 10-15 kilometers from Helsinki up to the north. And here again, the municipality of Tuusula, they wanted that the new school has to be built of timber. And they launched an open architectural competition. It was won some 5 years ago, and the school was opened this summer. So it's not only a school, but it's also a cultural building. So they can arrange theater events, music events there. And this is the floor plan of the first ground floor. And you see that this timber construction and the log construction gives a lot of liberties for the construction. So you have these pillars or common columns made of timber or log. And this is very transformable place, this area. So you can arrange different kind of learning situations, or you can open the spaces or close spaces. And here a picture from the interior, as you see the timber or the log constructions, they are unfinished, natural surfaces, and it can change during the years. It can become a little bit grayish, so it will change its color. And here again some illustrations. I visited there some 2 weeks ago, and it's a very cozy atmosphere, even though it's a very big school for 1,000 students and also visitors from the municipality. And you see the classroom space, the learning space. It also resembles of a farmhouse or a home. And actually you don't see any installations of electricity there because it was forbidden. Everything is hidden in the ceilings or in the floor. You don't see any cable rails here. They are not visible. So actually that was my last presentation I went through. Thank you much, gracias. Visit our schools. Hopefully you have time.